Hey Sainers, Saints TV. I'm just in the car. I thought I'd do a live kind of chat and review. I just went to the game. I'm just leaving HPA Stadium now. And yeah, pretty much annoyingly, it was as expected. We kind of tried for a little bit and lost by 47 points. Paddy McCartan was definitely my highlight of the game. I don't know about you guys, but for me, he was definitely the one that kind of announced himself and took himself as a serious footballer and crashed packs and brought the ball to ground when he was always multiple Geelong players intercepting him and taking him on. It was 1-on-3 every time, and I think Marshall not playing the second half really hindered his impact on the game. He was doing really well with Marshall in that first half, and once that was gone, we were down. Robertson kind of innocuously kind of just fell over and mentioned that he was dizzy. I believe someone told me that he was dizzy and he kind of just passed out, and that really put us down to 2 on the bench. And from that point on, it was just, when was Geelong going to take control and beat us? I might just get going. But yeah, it's when I mentioned, like, in my video, or in my game post, and I mentioned, the pressure's on Richo. That's true. I think it is on Richo, and the more I look at it, the more I think that we've got some good players. There is a nucleus there that can be part of a really good team, but I just don't think they've got any sort of direction from the coach at all. No direction from Richo. If you look at his coaching staff, and I've read this with a couple of different people and spoken to different people about this, none of them really have any serious credentials. Aaron Hamill played for Carlton and St Kilda, did well. Playfair's got some credentials. And then you've got Ben Dixon helping with goal kicking. You don't really have anyone that's had a proven record in AFL football. Apart from maybe Richo, and even then he came from Port Adelaide and kind of handled their recruitment and didn't do much apart from that. So I just don't think we have the right people building the team. There's no one there that's won premierships. There's no one there that's been there and done the work and seen it ultimately, seen the ultimate success. We haven't had people that have done that, and I feel like that does have some effect. I thought Hickey was actually good. I don't know what you guys think, but I thought Hickey played okay. I thought Marshall and Hickey as a combo worked quite well. My best on ground, it's really hard to name best on ground. I'm most pleased with Paddy McCartan. I think I was really pleased with the way he attacked the ball. He deserved more than the 1 goal that he got, but he was really good. Took some good clunks, and it wasn't the best conditions for a big forward like him, but he made it work. My worst on ground, I could name so many players right now, but I'm probably going to name 2 or 3, and you guys let me know if you agree. Jack Loney, absolute shit. I don't know why we brought him in. He did absolutely nothing for the conditions. It didn't work for him. He's not big enough. He's not quick enough. His disposal's not good enough. He's never going to be a good mark. I'm just being ruthless now. He's just never going to be a footballer that we need. Jade Gresham, I don't know what's happened with him, if he's kind of drank his own bathwater and he's thought, well, I'm a great player because I kicked that goal against Geelong and I'm, the next Stephen Milne for the Saints and they all love me, and he's just taking a ride. Jack Billings, again, quiet, didn't do much. Jack Sinclair, I think, was probably worst on ground. Me and my mate were watching the game thinking he just does not look like himself. He doesn't know how to kick. He doesn't know how to tackle. Just look at Ben Long. Ben Long made the most of a shit situation, and he did really well with it. He kicked a couple of good goals. He tackled all day. He marked. He chased, and it was all because he cared. And I think when you look at a lot of the players, it just looks like they don't care. It looks like when it was late in the game and I was looking at, it was Geary versus Selwood. They're both number 14. Selwood's the captain of Geelong and Geary is our captain. And the last 2 goals, I think, from Geelong were because of Geary. One because he got the ball and he kicked it to them. The second because, I don't know what's going on here. The second because he didn't attack the ball hard enough. And you look at previous examples, we had Lenny Hayes as captain. They led from the front. Nunes out is a great call. I think Nunes was terrible, and I think he's one of those players that has been in Richo's good books, and he's had a ride. I think he's played like 100 games in a row and they haven't taken him out, but I think he's definitely one that he was in the forward line. Like, the matchups were so wrong. We had Carlisle 3 down back, but I mean, it didn't account for anything because when we got it forward, I don't know who the long-haired guy is, but he just continually intercepted the ball, and it was just... This is why I think it's more tactical and more game plan and training based than individual skill. And I know we didn't execute, we missed handballs, we missed kicks, and we missed some set shots that we didn't get. That all comes down to confidence for me. And we've seen teams go from nothing to something, and I think a good example is the Bulldogs. They went from being probably the worst team in the two rounds, round 1 and 2. They got absolutely dominated, low scoring team, worst defence. Didn't look like a proper team. Which is saying a lot because we were pretty terrible in both round 1 and 2, and they were worse than us. But they've turned it around. They beat Essendon, and they probably should have beaten Sydney. They played really well, and they looked more like the Bulldogs of old of 2016. And that's why I think it can change quickly. But it's whether Richo is actually willing to embrace change. And that's, I think, what everyone's kind of worried about, is that he looks like he's kind of stuck in a certain way, and his only plan B, his only way to mix it up, is to put Jay Carlisle forward, which he kind of did, I think late in that last quarter, but apart from that, he didn't really change much. If anyone was watching Fox Footy, let me know if there were any major changes in the lineup, in the tactics, because from ground level, I didn't see anything. And yeah, I think Richo, who's that? Meg Lewis, I think Richo is a bit stubborn. Ross Lyon, people give a bad rap for, but he actually was willing to embrace change. In 2010 grand final halftime, he did a lot of different things. He put Gilbert forward. I think he put Goddard on Dane Swan or something and made Dane Swan accountable, and it just changed the game a little bit, so much so that we caught up and we levelled, hit the front, and then eventually it was a draw. But he was willing to embrace change. A lot of people say, oh, he didn't play youth, he didn't do this. He was there with the team and he wanted to do one thing, and he wanted to win a premiership. Richo is trying to build a team, so I feel like he hasn't got it in a way where he can just leave players in positions and expect the same every week. We're not in that window yet where it's top 4. He's in a window where he needs to experiment. He needs to put Marshall forward. He needs to put him back. He needs to put him in the ruck. I mean, I know players need to settle, but at the same time, you need to find where players work. I mean, I saw Jack Nunes in the forward line. You know Jack Nunes isn't a forward. So those experiments I'm not encouraging. I'm more encouraging bringing in more from Sandringham, which I watched a few of the guys. They played at 1 p.m. against Geelong and they won by 2 points. Armitage played. I saw Battle. Battle definitely needs to come in. 100% needs to come in. Jack Loney needs to come out. Battle needs to come in. There's so many players at Sandy that I think deserve a game. Bailey Rice is another one. Who's that? Grant Fairley. Poor recruiting. It's always a hindsight sort of thing, isn't it? Like, you look at recruiting and it's just kind of a thing where for some teams it goes really well initially, and then other teams it doesn't, and you just say poor recruiting. But I think over time you need to wait, give them some time. I would think that Ben Long is a good recruit. I think Hunter Clark, Caulfield, they're going to be good recruits. I think defence is a bit of a worry. Nathan Brown looked so shot. He looked so tired in that game, which is why I wouldn't mind seeing Logan Austin, I think we got from Port Adelaide a couple of years ago. They talked him up, and I think he was in the extended squad for this game, I believe, but he didn't make the cut. But he's a very good fullback, a very good centre-half-back. He's a big body, he's young. I think he got the Golden Fist a couple of times for Fox Footy from Danny Frawley in his Port Adelaide days. So it's something that I think we need to consider moving forward. And next week, GWS... It's a tricky one. They're a very, very good team, and it seems like our game plan is to get players back, flood it, which doesn't work anyway because we're conceding 100 points every week. But then the next step is to just bomb it to packs, and I liken this to markers up. Everyone that in this thread, all you guys have played markers up at school. You basically get 10 players on each end, and you bomb it to each other and see who can mark it. That's exactly what our game plan is. That's what it seems like we're trying to do. And it's just, it's not a game plan. Bombing is not a game plan. In the last quarter, I'd like to think, I think it was the last 10 minutes of the third and probably the last 10 minutes of the fourth, We lowered the eyes, we played with pace, we handballed, we were clean with the ball, and it actually worked. We didn't convert, but we created chances and we kind of negated Geelong's impact on the game. But then you see players like Dangerfield, the way he attacks the ball, even if it's near the boundary, he's trying to keep it in, he's trying to do something with it. Our players are flat-footed, and I said this to my mate that I went to the game with, that I think we are probably the worst team in the AFL, and you guys tell me if I'm wrong, the worst team in the AFL for kicking in after a behind is scored from the opposition. 100%, we have no structure in the kick-ins. We never go short. We never try to play it out fast with handballs. It's always chip in to like a Webster or someone if he's playing, and then it's a bomb to a pack, and it's to a Paddy who is at centre half back, and if he gets possession, the next kick, there's no one there because Paddy's pushed up. I mean, I could go on all day. This isn't me really talking about the game specifically. This is me more talking about our season as a whole, but how it has kind of meant this game went the way it did. I mean, it's the players that you think are going to go to the next level, and that's what we've been promised. Is there's the Acres, the Billings, the Greshams, the Dunstans, the Steeles, the Sinclairs that are going to take the club forward. And right now, none of them have improved, apart from maybe Blake Acres. I can't really say that he's had a poor season. He's been one of the shining lights for me. And the worry is that, players like him getting frustrated may want to look to go somewhere else. And we can't be in that position. We need to build a strong core, but we need to get some A-graders in. So I've seen that we've been connected with Shield. I see that Sloan is another one. Ollie Wines is another one. So I'm not sure how to put those. I would love to have an Ollie Wines, but he's an in and under. He's not really an outside runner. Shields is Dylan Shields, so we'll see firsthand next week how good this bloke is, and how good his possession is. And I think that's the thing that you see with the good teams. They don't give you easy goals, and we give teams shit easy goals, like over the back. Menzel, we make, I mean, no offence to Geelong fans if you guys are watching, which I highly doubt you are, but we make, decent players look like they're Gary Ablett Senior. You know what I mean? Like, we make them look incredible. I mean, next week GWS is a different kettle of fish, and they're very good, so they're just going to look. Are you stuck in traffic? I am stuck in traffic, yes. I'm driving. This isn't illegal, so no one tell me that it's illegal. It's just really slow traffic. I'm in Geelong still, and so here we go. It's freed up now. Beautiful. I used to go to school in Geelong, so I kind of know the area pretty well, and I come here usually to watch the Saints get smashed. I haven't been here for any sort of decent performances yet, but I live in in north areas of Melbourne, so it's going to be like an hour's drive, so I figured why not do a live stream instead of waiting until I get home, film the review, upload it, do the thumbnail. By that time it's 11 at midnight almost, work tomorrow. I figured I'd do a nice trial this live review thing, and if you guys want me to do more of this, let me know. I'm just trying different things. It's a new channel and it seems to be going really well. All you guys, I love your comments, I love your likes and your enthusiasm. Even when we're playing shit, I always read some of the positive comments, even though there's maybe 1 in 100. And and I'm kind of like, oh, maybe this week will be better, so that's what I kind of want from this. Is I don't want this to be a, I hate Richo, I hate the club, because we're never going to hate the club, are we? We're always going to support the club. And I mean, Richo to an extent I'm going to always support, because I want the best for the club and I want him to do well. But I want this to be a really positive environment, even if the chips are down, even if we're playing poorly, and right now we are. But that's the thing with this channel. I don't want it to be, like you read articles, the media say the same shit. They say that we don't have an A grader. That's all they say. They don't talk from a supporter perspective. And that's what I want this to be. And I saw some comments pre-game or even during the game when I was posting the scores that some of you guys want me to maybe interview some people at the ground, do that whole Arsenal fan TV thing, and there was a guy behind me that was just so angry because they kept showing Dylan Robertson on the big screen, his stats compared to Tim Kelly or something, and everyone's like, Dylan Robertson's had 2 touches because he's been injured and he's off the ground for the second half. And this guy just kept going off because he was just saying that Robertson's, in hospital and his health's at risk, and why are they showing him on the big screen. So interviewing that guy would have been interesting, but it's fans like, people say that St Kilda is a shit club, they don't have fans, but there were so many of us tonight. Like, we all, troubled the cold weather. I didn't have a beanie. They didn't even have Saints merchandise at the ground. I couldn't buy a beanie when it was raining. And we just sat there in the cold and enjoyed it. You just want to see the club go really well, but when you only see maybe 1 or 2 players every week trying their hardest, it's really hard to even care sometimes. So it's just, I'm going to try and go to every game this year. So I've already said that I'm going to be at obviously GWS. I'm planning on going to Tassie the week after to go to the Hawks game. And then after that, maybe Adelaide, Port Adelaide, go to all these games. So if there's any of you guys that are interstate that may want to catch up, let me know. I might just close it here just so I can focus on driving. But I'd love to hear your thoughts, just your honest thoughts on what needs to be fixed. And don't just say Richo needs to go, but have you spotted, a player that's played in the forward line that could be good in defence? Do you think we just need to continually just drop, like a Nunes, drop those blokes that have just had a cruisy ride for 4 years under Richo and need to make a statement and say, mate, you're not good enough right now, and you're gonna have to make a decent run in Sandy to prove your worth. Because there's guys like Mav Waller, he's kicking 4 every week, he's having 30 possessions, and he's not getting a game. And I know someone said in the comments the other day that he was injured, and yes, he was, but he played today for Sandy, so he's back. I think, would you rather a Jack Loney against Geelong, or would you rather a Mav Waller who's a tank and can, when he's on, can hurt blokes, and he's a mature body, he's a good kick, he's a good mark. Who would you rather? I want Richo to still play to win games, but at the same time, not so much that he's bringing in the guys like Gilbert. And that's actually another player that I wanted to ask you guys about. Gilbert, what did you think of Sam Gilbert? I thought he plugged a hole, but he's not going to be there for our next premiership team, is he? So, like what you said, Brett Lewis, yes, pick players on form, not by name or by what they may have done 2 years ago or whatever, or what you think they can be. Paddy's one where I think you just have to play him, and no matter his form, you need to play him. And tonight I think he kind of answered a lot of his critics in that he kicked a goal, he took so many good marks, he was great beneath his feet. When the ball hit the deck, he was so good. And there was a goal, second or first quarter, where he was 3-on-1, he brought it to ground, he tackled the bloke, and it kind of filtered out, and then we got the goal. And it was 100% all his effort. But this is what I think with the media is, they won't mention that. They'll just mention that he had a decent game, but they won't mention that he busted his ass to create a goal for his teammate. Even if, we're 40 points down, he's still doing that. And he did that against North with the holding the ball. But the game was done, but he still tried. So this is all we can ask as Saints fans. Is just bloody, when you're playing AFL in front of a crowd. I would kill to do that. You know how excited I would be? I'm excited when my parents come and watch and I'm playing for South Yarra Footy Club, and that gets me up and about, and I always want to play hard, Why aren't they doing that? They are getting paid big money. They are playing in front of fans every week. It's a great job. Make the most of it. Make your fans proud. Don't sit in the rooms and cry about it. I'm going on a rant now, but it's just, it's a tricky one. I'm not completely disheartened by that performance, because there were maybe 10-minute patches that showed that there is something there. This is what I mean by game plan and coaching. Make it happen. Just look at those gaps in the game and talk to the players about how did we do that? What did we do differently? And maybe tweak the game plan to do that. There's no game plan right now, so when I say change the game plan, create a game plan, because right now there's no game plan. So I'm just going to leave it there, guys. I've gone on for a bit of a rant, but I hope you like the live stream. I should probably focus on driving now, but when I get home, I'm happy to answer any questions that you leave in this comments thread here, and I'll be sure to get back to you. But I'll post this on YouTube as well, so if you haven't already subscribed to Saints TV on YouTube, please do. Saints TV official on Instagram, and obviously if you know any Saints fans that haven't liked Saints TV yet, share it with them. Invite them to this page. I want to make this grow, because I don't know about you guys, but when you go on the St Kilda Football Club Facebook page, and I'm not dissing them in any way because I love the club, even when I'm going to Geelong and I'm wearing a scarf, I'm around 30,000 Geelong fans and we're getting done by 5-10 goals, they just don't get me excited with what they post, whereas I want to get you guys excited every week with the games. Even if we're bottom of the ladder, even if we're playing shit football, I want to find little gaps in how I can improve your week from a Saints perspective and get you up and about for the games, because we need to be excited. We need to find something to be excited about every game. And no doubt leading up into the GWS game, I'm going to be posting how we beat them last year, and we all remember that game, and that was one of our best performances outside of the Richmond game last year that we've had in recent memory. And I posted the Saints Geelong 09 game the other day, and it's just gone nuts. Like, it's gone over 400 likes, 450 comments, nearly 20,000 views in a couple of days, just because you guys, and it got you guys excited. So many comments of, damn, this club can be good, so I just want to keep doing that. So I'll leave it there, guys. Thanks very much for watching. Take care. Don't be too disheartened by the performance, and I'll chat to you guys soon. See ya.